Ooh, wait, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie here all day. I am finally getting into the Halfbreed Blades knife that I have sitting around. Really nice packaging from these guys. That is literally like A1 packaging. But it's time to get into this knife right here. So this is the LIK-01, the large infantry knife. So you have Lima, India, Kilo dash 01, obviously large infantry knife, LIK. They do have another version. I don't know what it's called. Let's look it up real quick because I think it's basically the same size. It's just the Gen 2, and it has really nice scales on it. Really nice scales. And I just lost my blade there that I was looking at. I just lost it, man. But we're gonna get it back. So while I get it back, let's let you look at that. It is a really nice looking knife, and I'll explain why. This one we are taking outside. We are going to cut and bang on things and do all the normals. But I wanted to go over a few things first because there are some things that should be talked about with this knife. And I'm going to do that with you guys. Here we go. All right, yeah, so the Gen 2 looks like the same thing with just super nice scales. Let's get down to the specs on this guy. Here we go. Okay, it's large infantry knife. Duh. It is a fixed blade. I kind of got that. The blade steel is K110D2 with a Rockwell of 59 to 60. And as you know, through a lot of my knives, I prefer using D2 on many of my steels. Some I use things like 5160. We'll get into that. Let's see. This is a partially serrated blade, Teflon coated. Really nice. It is a clip point. We'll get into that. The blade length is 6.89 inches, so just short of 7 inches. We have a 1/4 inch of thickness with G10 scales. The handle thickness is just shy of an inch. And let's see, the overall length is 11.77 inches. It has a molded Kydex sheet that we will discuss. And let's see, the knife weight is 12.52. All right, so here's the deal, man. Let's first talk a little bit about this sheath. The sheath, it has really nice retention. It's not going anywhere. It's quiet. It's just really nice. It looks good. It's a good looking sheath. You have plenty of area for lashing. You have plenty of options for belt configuration, so you can move this around any way you would want it, up, down, all around. See this little bar here? This little bar can be removed, and it just literally clips in. I'd have to yank it out, but it clips in. You can see where, boop, and you can adjust for belt size. So that's really, you can take it out for an even larger belt and not have it at all. The good thing is you can take it on and off the belt without having to undo the belt or remove the belt. Another good thing. So it's a nice clip. The sheath is, I mean, there's nothing to argue about. Now, holding it next to a standard K-Bar, you can see the blades are fairly close. And if I went from guard to guard, you could see that the standard K-Bar is a little longer in the blade. If I go grip to grip, they are the same length. What changes it is the internal guard. So where this one starts here, you can see the end of the ricasso just comes down. That one would be the guard, but they are the same length overall. But I don't know if you'd be able to swap out sheaths at all if you had to. You definitely can't use an original K-Bar blade in that sheath, and it seems like you can't use their knife in theirs, and it's because theirs is thicker. It's just better blade stock. It's nice and fat all through here. So the reason I'm bringing up the K-Bar is because this guy was their version of a K-bar, their version of that utility knife. Now, a lot of people like to call this, I know this is the NASA version, so it's not the leather stack handles, but it's the same exact specs. A lot of people say, oh, it's the USMC fighting knife. It's actually a utility knife. It's not a fighting knife. Can you fight with it? Yeah, but in World War II, the Vietnam, all throughout those years where this knife was carried, more people were killed with shovels than knives. This is a great utility knife. It was originally patterned after a hunting knife, making this one really, really freaking great hunting knife. This is a great deer knife. Would I choose this knife for combat? No, never, because there are way more better choices out there. This, I believe, being one of them. So that is all we're going to talk about with the K-Bar. Let's put that aside. So everybody and their mother who designs knives and makes knives does some version of that knife. And the reason is, it's to pay homage to one of the most infamous knives in history, and B, it's because you want to improve it. That one definitely is an old design that needs improvement, right? So having a true full tang, integrated guard, things like that, little extras on it, better handles, it's just necessary. You'll notice that the blade is really freaking similar. The grinds are really similar. And the reason is because it's worth it. They do use a pencil fuller instead of a nice wide fuller. I am not a big fan of the pencil fullers, but on this knife, I really don't care. I think it looks pretty good. They have some jimping up top, which is so non-aggressive. You can just rub your thumb across it all day long. You're never going to have any kind of rubbing or weird spots in your thumb. They did it really, really well. I am a plain edge fan, but I can tell you that that these are really nice serrations, and you'll notice they're the round serrations, not the pointy serrations, which means these are going to stay sharper a lot longer. So they did a really, really good job on that. The integral guard is so much better than that wafer guard, that little thin thing. It bends all the time. So I really, really do appreciate that. I love the fact that it's true full tang. It does have exposed a ridge line here, which is odd for a combat knife, because you don't want the metal going past the you don't want the steel going past the grip, because in winter that puts more steel exposed on the hands. But if you wear gloves, you'll be okay. Not everybody. I never wore gloves in combat. They gave them to us. I didn't wear them. Just a preference. Yeah, so I don't understand that, but what I can say about that is it does help lock in the hand. I mean, trying to turn this blade while in the grip is really hard, where on the original K-Bar, I can spin my hand around in that round grip. No problemo. I don't know, it's nice. You can see that they did like almost like a wood grain type deal in the G10, and that's really sweet. All in all, I really like this knife. Now, as a designer, as a knife designer and user, there is only one real issue I had with the knife, and it's just the fact that my hands are super big, and for some reason this grip just feels small. If you look at the grip compared to the original, you could see that there's a lot more grip. Even though I absolutely hate this grip, there's a lot of it. Even my grip is pretty close. On the knife I designed, it's pretty close. The difference is all the finger wells. Where this one has one, the material on the G10 is fairly slick, but the more you use it, the better it gets. Outside of that, you have your pommel here with your skull cracker. I really appreciate how instead of a lanyard hole, they did a lanyard loop, so you have two. It also helps for lashing. Now, the ricasso, when I first looked at it, I was like, why would you have a square ricasso? It doesn't look that good, but it does have a couple purposes. One being when you take your TA550 cord and you do use lashing, that right there will lock in your cord very, very nicely. You can also use it for bending wire, getting in between and doing that is really going to work well. So even the negative points on this knife aren't so negative for me. They really aren't that bad. And I told you everybody and their mother likes to design one. Mine I designed with a leather sheath because I just like it. But as you can see, mine is also a bit bigger. Where they kept with the standard K-Bar grinds, where it has a huge, huge swedge here, I went with a smaller swedge to give more emphasis on the actual cutting edge. I went with a big, fuller and a wider blade. You'll notice definitely the difference where this blade is really, really wide. This is still a pretty narrow blade. It's good for insertion and exertion, but so is this, because of the fact that the tip, it doesn't get exponentially wider from here on. It's the same, right? So thrusting doesn't change anything. The difference is I just have a nice wide blade, so it'll make better wound channeling and things like that. Mine is about 7 millimeters, so it's a little bit thicker. My guard is welded and nice and wide. Theirs is integral. Since this is welded, there's no difference in real strength. I like the look of this, but I really love an integral guard. And our grips are fairly close. The difference is mine will give you more in the fingers. As you see where this point ends right here, my grip is a little bit longer, so you have a little bit more in the hand than this one. And they're pretty close to the same width. Holding this one and holding this one, it makes me really appreciate this a little bit more than I initially thought, because I grabbed it at first and I'm like, it's a little small for me. But I think it was where this came up, because obviously you see my hands, my pinky has to be pulled in for that, where on my design, the pinky, you know what I mean? You can see where my pinky is going to fit right in there. They add a skull cracker, which is good. Can I still bang the end of this? Absolutely. And I went with rosewood instead of G10 or micarta, anything like that. So kept it classic. So I really wanted to show you the difference of how people go about these knives, because everybody who is a knife guy, who has ever held one of these or looked at one of those, wants to do one, to pay homage to it. And a lot of them fail. I think a lot of them are really not that great. A lot of the reproductions and things like that. This one, I think, is really good. I haven't taken it out once, haven't used it once. I've had this thing sitting here for a while, haven't gotten to it. Today is the day. But even just playing with it sitting here, I can automatically say that that the weight distribution, while it's not like a -4 POV or anything like that, POB, it's still not as bad as this one. The point of balance on this is great for deering, things like that. Great for skinning, not so much great for fighting, where this one still is a little bit better in the POB. I have to say that it's definitely an improvement. Mine was designed specifically for fighting, so that's why the POB is a -4 on that one, rather than, I think this one's closer to a -3, where that one is a -2 and just not right. But right there is pretty sweet. I want to see, man. I haven't even checked the edge. Oh man. All right, so the mine came really sharp. The K-Bar came pretty much razor sharp. This one's even sharper than that. So of the three, I have to say, stock edge, this of the three that I showed you is definitely the best stock edge. And I know that's my design and my knife, but I'm not going to hide anything. It's true. That thing's got a remarkable edge. Let's take it outside and really, really show you what it does. All right, so getting this thing in the daylight is even more impressive. I like that it's black on black on black. I think that's just really attractive. It does look really, really nice. Where I went with a very classic looking knife, they went with a super modern interpretation. Nailed it. nailed it. All right, so let's go check. It definitely has a better turn in hand than the original K-Bar. Definitely a better turn in hand. It's much faster, much smoother. Something I can really appreciate as somebody who likes to go and practice and things like that. I'm constantly using my knives like that. I really enjoy that. So let's try and get you balanced. I got tons of rain here and just lots of leaves, but we're gonna make it all happen. All right, so we're gonna take the 1/2-inch nylon rope, and I want to try just a straight push cut on that edge. Is absolutely zero problems. I mean, zero problems. That is so nice. That one I used the serrations for the cut. Now I want to use the plain edge for the cut, and either way to go around it, it's going to work. With the serrations, I don't know if you can do a push cut because they are serrated, but we will try and we will succeed. It's just a nice knife. We got, let's see, two levels right there. This thing's gonna cut, man. It's going to cut. Let's do some 4-foot gravity drops, and we'll see the bite and how straight it drops. And the bite on a gravity drop is really nice. It is really nice. You can see where the water line is right there. How deep that went. That's like 3/4 of an inch. I'm just dropping it. A couple hard downward throws. Oh yeah. Yeah, that gets in there. Wow, that really gets in there. Do another one. Bam. It's solid. Yeah. All right, so that right there is the water line right there where the knife went into. That's about 1.5 inches, just diving straight in. Yeah. Nothing snapping, nothing moving. Just really nice. Good solid piece of steel right there. We got some nylon infused fuel hose. We're gonna take a little spin on it. Oh man, that was smooth. That was really nice. Let's do some tighter cutting. We're gonna just slice this guy up like a hot pepper. Just nice, man. Just nice. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just literally dicing and cubing this rubber hose, no problem. Let's see, we got the extension cord. Let's take off a little bit of that. Smooth. I mean, smooth. Super nice. Perfect edge. No issues. Come on, man. Oh, you know what? Let's do something else. Let's do something else while I'm here. While we're here, let's first let me drop you on your faces because I'm so nice. All right, let's shave some of this old leather saddlebag. Look at that. Look at that. I want to get closer. Look at this. That is super freaking sharp. That is super sharp. Let's see, we got the tire. Running out of spots without holes in it. Yep, I'm showing myself. All right, that was fun. That was fun. Whew, man. Let's see here. Let's see here. We got some stuff over here. Dog made a landmine there. I had to miss that one. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. All out of the picture. All I'm getting is glare. I can't really see. There we go. Nice cut there. Let's see. I put a nice slice in it. Oh, I think I'm worried more about my footing. Woo! Once we had to put down my other dog. They used to poop all in the same place, and with the other one gone, now the one that's left just chooses all new spots. Oh, he's over there choosing a new spot. All right, so let's try the plastic netting, the knife edge killer. See how this guy does with it. Flawless. Flawless means without flaw. And that was without flaw through the plastic netting. Bam, just look at that. This knife is so nice. This knife, I'll tell you what, inside, I'm like, this is a nice knife. Using it, I'm liking it more and more. The more I use this knife, like, it gets more and more comfortable in the hand. I feel more secure in the grip. I don't know what it is, but using it is just really improving it. And I noticed when I was inside, when I first grabbed this handle, I'm like, it's a little slick. The G10's a little slick out of the box. But then I started doing this in the house, and I'm going, okay, it's starting to feel a little bit better the more I work my hand on it. And right now I have to say it's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. All right, so I want to chop something. I got this thing right here. Let's didn't even have to move you. All right, there we go. We got this piece. Ugh. Let's see how we can do here. Make sure I'm in there. Holy Moses. All right, so that was a little better than I thought. It's definitely going to have better chopping than the original K-Bar, just because of how the weight is transferred. Way better. And the original isn't a slouch. When I say things like that, like way better, that's not that. I don't think the original one's a bad knife. I actually really appreciate that knife. It's a really great knife, as a matter of fact. But it's not great in all ways. So far, this thing is pretty badass, man. This is what we call in today's society, shit is dope. All right, so this is nice. Let's come over here for a second. We just have to try one thing before we take it somewhere else. Let's see here. Let's see, make sure I'm in. Oh, I was there. I saw where it hit. Ugh. All this growth, I have no idea where my throwing spots are. Oh, I think I need to back up. And I'll tell you what, missing is showing you guys that this thing is not weak. There we go. I knew it was going to happen. It just feels good to throw. Oh, man. That is burying in there. Taking chunks out of this tree. Not even losing any of the coating. Ooh, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice, man. I can't wait to really throw with this, because I love throwing the original K-Bar. It really is a good thrower. You know what I mean? It's weird finding your first time when you throw the original because of the weight, how the weight is rooted. But once you get it, it's fun. I think this one's going to be even more fun because the weight's just easier. Let's see here. Now, this isn't designed to be a camp knife. However, that being said, it's you're going to be able to use this as a survival knife without a doubt. I can tell you that because we already know this blade size and structure in the original K-Bar, and in the original K-Bar, you're going to find one of the best hunting knives on the planet. So this one isn't going to be any different. I mean, as far as that's concerned, you're going to be able to survival knife the absolute snot out of this thing. It's really nice. And you look at the steel. Remember, K-Bar does a D2 version of that. It's got a different pommel and a same blade, but D2, and it's still just freaking awesome. So don't think like that because it's D2 it's going to be any different. This thing is sweet. This thing is sweet. Look at this. Come on, man. So for most of you, you're not going to combat anytime soon. You're not going to cross the lines anywhere. You're not going to jump in your MRAP and try to avoid IEDs and things like that. That's not your typical Saturday. So for most of you, this knife is going to be a personal protection knife or just a utility knife, an all around the world knife. And I have to say that if your intentions are to use this thing as a survival knife, if you're saying I do a lot of camping, I do a lot of hunting, I do a lot of outdoorsy stuff, I want a knife that's going to be able to do it. I mean, this knife, you're going to be very, very happy with that knife. I mean, I'm using that serration to dig through. I mean, think about it. You need to make pit spikes, tent spikes, spears, you know, to protect your camp, anything, even hot dog sticks. This guy right here is going to do it without an issue. I mean, without an issue. Let's see. Just no problem, man. This thing is sweet. This thing is sweet, baby. So, let me tell you, before I finish up saying what I like about it, let me tell you what they did really, the one thing they did really, really wrong with this knife. Nothing. This thing is nice, man. I wasn't, when I bought it, and this isn't one that like the company sent to me as a tester, as a freebie. So believe me, I'm not blowing smoke up your butt, you know, because I'm being nice to them who were nice to me. Nope. This was my pocket. This came out of my pocket. It's just really, really, really super nice. So I mean, I could try to lie to you guys, but proof is in the pudding. Let's see. After batoning, after all that, cutting through leather tire. Oop! I just dropped it. Look at this. Look at this. That is 100% shave sharp. Shave sharp, not Shannon sharp. Shave sharp. Crazy nice. Yeah, the more I use it, the more I like it. My version, my D-Bad War Machine, is my most used knife. It's the one I take out more often than anything else. I just really like using it. It's a great user. This is going to be one of those blades where it's going to be just like that. I'm going to be able to use this thing frequently. It's just a really, really good knife. And I mean, a great knife. It's not a good knife. It's a great knife. So if you're looking into Halfbreed blades and you're trying to figure out what to get, this one, the generation 2 of this one, is going to give you even. I wonder if the generation 2 scales would match up to these holes, because if so, I would be inclined to buy those just because it would give you even more grip. Wait till you see them. They're beautiful. What I'll do is down below, I'm going to add a link to their page, and I'll add a link to this page specifically. This is a really, really nice knife, guys. Completely worth it. All right, so that's it for that one. Hi, I'm Donnie B all day. Until next knife.